As you know, Baylor has picked up some transfer portal commitments and actually signings, including Wyoming's Obi Agbim, who joins me, 365 Sports. Obi, thanks for your time. Baylor's reacting very quickly, trying to rebuild and reconstruct their roster. Your thoughts about how all this went down, and first of all, your reaction to signing with Baylor.
Signing with Baylor, it was a really big deal for me. I really didn't understand how big it was until I actually was able to go down and see it for myself. When I got down there, it was unbelievable. It was outstanding. Just the basketball alone blew me away. It left me speechless. And I didn't understand how big of an opportunity it was until I was able to get down there. And I can't wait for my whole family to actually see it for themselves. So my reaction to this whole thing is it still hasn't hit me full swing yet, but I'm still settling in, and I'm extremely excited for the opportunity.
What's been the reaction from those Baylor fans or others? And what was Scott Drew's reaction when you called to commit to Baylor?
Man, I'm really, really excited to see how the Baylor fans are in person. I know over social media, when I gave them a phone call and I spoke to a couple guys that I knew, the conversations we had, it was really a full swing of just unbelievable emotions. They didn't think it was going to happen, and then it was one of those things where they were so excited, and I told them the day that I was going to do it. And there was a lot of people that knew it was going to happen before it actually happened, but Scott Drew, he's unbelievable. He's different. The first phone call I had, I almost felt like he was trying to give me a hug through the phone.
Yep.
That's how crazy his energy is. So I definitely felt the vibe the first time I spoke with him. He's a great person. I can feel his personality.
Yeah, he's one of those that some people almost think that can't be him. There's no way somebody could be that full throttle with happiness and whatever else. But no, that's exactly who he is.
Exactly. He's different for sure. He really lives by the culture of joy, and I really admire it.
So you've been around. You've had to take a journey to get to where you are with this opportunity to play in the Big 12 after Wyoming. You have bounced around quite a bit. What has that been like for you, Obi, to kind of, you've been here and here and here and here, and now here's your opportunity with Baylor?
Honestly, it's a journey that you really can't script. I feel like, God works in a whole bunch of mysterious ways, and he really put me in a lot of places that I would have never, ever imagined myself being in, going from D2 to JUCO and then going to this really big D1 school from Wyoming, and even me getting another year. It's a whole bunch of things that, honestly, I really couldn't script out. Outside of it just being a blessing. And, I really want to put my journey as a tribute to God's work.
Now, you can put it up. You have more than just someone who can score. But for Baylor fans, no matter if they've seen highlights of your statistics, what kind of player is Baylor basketball getting with Obi Agbim?
I would say the kind of player that they're getting is the player that they need, a winner, a guy that, is ready to compete every day, day in and day out, and leave it all on the floor no matter what. Whether it's me having a great game, whether it's me having a bad game, I promise that I'm going to play my heart out and leave it all on the floor.
They also have a couple of other transfers. In fact, yesterday, Oregon State's Michael Rataj is another that's joining the group. Have you guys even communicated much, those who are the new transfers, or is that too soon?
Honestly, it was really a little bit of a surprise for me because we kind of committed on the same day, just a couple hours apart.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really communicate yet, but I kind of did some research and I saw that he was a really big recruit and it was a really big deal. So I feel like just having those two commitments in the same day was really huge for the Baylor community.
What's the story now on your schedule between now and when you arrive in Waco?
I was just in Waco yesterday, but the story is just head down and grind the summer of separation. I feel like that's the only way to prepare myself for another big year and a better year than I had last year.
What did Coach Drew and staff say? Where will you play? Will you be a two guard? What's your position going to be?
We haven't really established a solidified position. Right. Because I know when you're bringing a roster in, the play style may change depending on what you have in front of you. So we haven't necessarily established a solidified position, but I would predict that it's going to be a bit of positionless basketball
Mm.
where we're running like maybe three guards or two guards at a time. And, you know, I don't necessarily see it as like, oh, you have to have the ball in your hands or you have to be the one. I think, the type of play style that I can see that may happen is just, grab the ball and go. A little bit of faster play style.
Okay, Obi, one more thing, if you don't mind. Tell us about
Of course.
something in your life that's unique, something that you maybe had to show a great deal of resiliency, something that maybe most people, unless their family or very close in your inner circle, don't know about you.
That's a really, really good question. Um, you know, Something that I would say is unique about me. Uh, I don't know. I'm a little different. I would really say that. Uh, yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. You really got me on that one.
well,
I've never been asked that before.
Well, just to kind of get away from just pure X's and O's and basketball and all of that
Yeah,
stuff too. You obviously have a tremendous personality. You have a personality. You show that when you're playing the game. On the court, I looked at some highlights
yeah.
and just kind of. I'm not an X's and O's guy either. But what is your favorite hobby?
Okay, okay, I can do that. My favorite hobby is just I really like to spend time with my family and friends. But outside of just like being in the gym and playing basketball, I kind of just like to learn new things. Maybe play the game. I'm a little bit of a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Outside of that, I like to collect shoes. I'm a
Oh,
sneakerhead.
all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on big on shoes, and I like cars. I really like cars a lot.
Cars like
Yeah.
fast cars, SUVs. What's your favorite? What are you driving right now?
What I drive right now is a Range Rover.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I'm big on cars, you know. I'm not like the guy that's gonna flex on anybody or anything like that, but I'm just more of, I kind of like to see the breakdown of the car, like, things that make it quicker, make it slower, understanding how it works and all that stuff.
Okay.
Just kind of like old school mechanic vibes.
All right, I have one more question for you, and this is something that's intrigued me, and also with all of how players now move around. And I mentioned your story. You mentioned your story. You have been in a lot of places. How difficult has that made it for you to make sure you continue on progressing towards a degree? Where are you with that? And has that sometimes been a little bit of a juggling act?
Man, talk about difficulty in the journey. This whole thing with the transfer portal, not knowing where you're gonna land, especially when it started my freshman year. It's really difficult. When you transfer, some schools don't take all your credits. Some schools take only certain majors. You kind of have to change, and you're not really you don't really understand what's going to happen at the next location. Like for example, when I first committed to Wyoming, my head coach he kind of upped and left out of nowhere, and it hit me on the blind side. And then I had to re-enter the transfer portal, and I was lucky enough to uh, meet Coach Sundance
Yep.
and be able to go back there. But just, like the thing is, you never know what's going to happen. And throughout this journey with, going from school to school, there's a lot of times where you kind of, may not be in the right situation for the moment. And it's going to really take a toll on your mental to the point where you're going to be down and you may not like basketball for the time, or you may not like, what you love, or you may not know what you love during the time. And it's really a mental challenge and mental perseverance. And it really took me a point in my life where I had to go through the worst things that I went through in order to be able to commit myself to the dedication and the grind of the game, understanding that maybe it's not my time now, but who knows what my time can be if I go harder and I continue to persevere and try throughout all the grit and the grind. So, there's definitely beauty in the struggle, but I can tell for a lot of people, just coming out of my circle in my hometown, like, it's really hard, especially when things aren't going the right way and you're continually trying to find the right situation. It's really hard. And some people will label you as things that, you're really not. But honestly, I think the main thing is just trusting God and allowing Him to lead you to the right situation. Because without God, I wouldn't be in my shoes right now. I wouldn't be in this situation at all. So, I think that's the only way that I was able to get out the grind and the grit.
Born in Aurora, Colorado. Are you a native of Houston? Where did you play high school ball?
So I was born in Aurora, Colorado. I went to high school in Aurora, Colorado, but around my sophomore year, we made a move. My mom, my sister, and like the whole family, we made a move to Texas, to Houston, Texas, in Richmond. And
Okay. Yep.
for a little bit, I went to high school out there. I went to Foster High School out there for a few
Uh
months,
huh.
and everything was all said and done. And then my mom, she wasn't really comfortable with the vibe, so she kind of wanted to go back to Colorado. And my sister, she was really busy with school at the time, and I'm only a pretty young cat in high school still, so I would rather go with my mom rather than putting the weight
Sure.
of taking care of me on my sister at the time. So I moved back with my mom, and we were able to live in Aurora, Colorado, and finish out my two last seasons of high school. And by doing that, we won a championship, and then we went on a 26-0 run my senior year. I got a good amount of accolades, and unfortunately, COVID ended up canceling that season.
Yep.
So that's a
Yep.
little bit of that.
Yep. You've been on, man, have you been around? I'm a military kid, or was. Heck, I'm now almost 66 years old, but we would move every 3 or 4 years based on what the government wanted my father to do, who was military.
Right.
And I think I loved it. Now, again, you've been a lot of different places, which should help develop a well-rounded young man, and it sounds like it just from our time on the phone today. Well, I'm sure Baylor fans can't wait to see you. I know what you said about Coach Drew. That's what everybody says. And then they meet him, and he's even like, bam, even
He's even
more.
better.
Thanks for your time, man. Enjoy whatever you have right now, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for your time, and congratulations on your commitment to signing with Baylor.
Thank you so much. This interview was amazing. I appreciate you, and I cannot wait to meet you guys in person.
I will absolutely make sure that we come to see you. Obi Agbim, he's now with Baylor. This is 365 Sports.